Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I think we're on episode 16 now. So welcome back. I'm Manny Friedman along with my co-host
Brad Sloan.
All right. Woo! How about that performance from Woo today?
Yeah, that's probably the
against
big
Prince?
story, right? Man, it was a depressing betting day for me though. It was looking really, really positive coming into the day, and then not such a good day.
Yeah. I mean, Woo, like Wolf was so disappointing. That was such a bad loss. Oh, that was just painful against
Yeah, I mean it's always painful to watch Isner matches, and that was yeah, and there were like the end of the second set from Wolf was painful.
atrocious.
The
Just the
tiebreak
way he
wasn't great
lost that
either.
set.
What?
Just the way he lost that set. And like throughout the match, he was clearly the better player. I mean, it's not even close.
Honestly, I don't know that I agree with that. Like, I thought it was actually somewhat like the third set was pretty even, actually, I thought. In the second set, I guess up until like that 30-all game from Wolf, those like actually that game from Wolf wasn't great.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a really frustrating that was probably the most frustrating.
You were texting me during the match, and it's hilarious because like if Isner doesn't have break point, he basically doesn't try, right? If the ball comes back three times.
Yeah, he'll take a couple yeah, exactly, which is like it's just an awful way to watch tennis. Like
it's just terrible. He basically, serves, and if the ball comes back more than 3 times, he just dumps it in the bottom of the net, right?
But it was sadness. Both breaks today in that match were double faults.
Oh my God. It's just terrible. I mean, I was actually surprised to see that line where it was like a Wolf -30. I was expecting like -170, 180 or something, so I thought it was a like, I don't regret hitting it.
I don't either. I mean, but that 5-6 game from Wolf, the whole 5-6 game in general from Wolf was really weak. And then the 30-all
start down 4-0.
Yeah, the tiebreak was not a great start. Yeah. But
so that was painful today, but Woo kind of took it home for me, and that was that kind of erased all those negative thoughts because I tried to get it back and I bet Woo on the money line. So
but I mean, that was only what, like plus 270 or something, right? Or plus 200, something like that?
Plus 280, I think.
280, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he played a good match. So,
he did.
I guess we'll start there, right? So in terms of quarters, right? Like what bets did you have there, Manny, that worked well or not so well for you?
Let me share my screen here. Zoom in right here. So I had quarters right here. So, well, I guess we'll start with the semis kind of because we were talking about that and kind of work our way back.
Yeah.
So I mean, Dallas, I had the Wolf money line. We just talked about it. And then Fritz and Woo, I had over 22.5 games. And then the Woo money line. I mean, it could have easily gone under because there were a ton of deuce games. Woo had to like scrap.
Well, Fritz had a bunch of break points in the second set.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
and more so early in the set.
So yeah,
which made it a very nervous watch.
But it was because I had Woo plus 3.5, and I thought he was going to lose 7-6, 6-3 for a while, which would have been also very depressing.
Right.
But I thought, yeah, I mean, I thought honestly Fritz was the better player throughout the match here. He went 0 for 9 or something on break point, I think.
Yeah, 0 for 9. I don't think he broke the entire match.
No, he didn't. No, because he went 0 for 9 on break point. Like, so you can't break if you don't convert break point.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Fritz was better for most of the match. I don't think he was the better player in the third set, to be honest. I think Woo was the better player in the third.
I thought the third set was more even. I thought the third set was pretty even. I thought the first 2 sets, Fritz was easily the better player. Like, yeah, I mean, I thought. Yeah, I was.
Well, I mean, Woo redlined for a lot of that match. Like, there was a point where he didn't make a single backhand error for quite some time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought Wu played well, sure, but Fritz, it's a disappointing loss for Fritz. Fritz was the better
It
player, and
is. And now
I don't
Fritz
know.
has had these kind of string of bad losses against opponents kind of rank way lower than him.
Well, but I mean, really, right? Like, what are we talking? We're talking about Papirin. I guess Holt at the U.S. Open, and now this match against Wu. I don't know. Wu's a lot better than his rank. I think. I think we would agree with that, right?
But what I'm saying is like, so these guys are playing really well against him. And I feel like Fritz's game kind of allows other guys to play their best tennis because he kind of just hits clean balls from the baseline and he's quite one-dimensional. I was actually
He's
having
a
a
little stiff,
conversation.
right? We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I consider him a little bit like stiff as a player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just don't know if he's like that good of an athlete or like that, or like that. Like, I just don't know if he had like, I don't know if he actually has the shots. Like, I don't know if it's like a mental thing or if it's just like, if it's more of a physical thing, just not having like that much variety in his game.
But I think that's a big problem for him. And also there are no real tactical adjustments. Like he plays his plan A very well, but then when it's not working, he doesn't like he stays in it mentally. Like
But when have you ever
yeah.
seen him like have a plan B that could work? Like,
well, that's what I'm
I
saying.
have a
That's
hard
what he
time
needs to
criticizing
develop.
somebody for not using a plan B if they don't have a plan B that can work, right? Like,
I guess, but that's what he needs to develop. Like that's the missing part in his game. He's a good ball striker and stuff, but I'm looking at his other results. Like he lost to Simone in Paris. Like that's a bad loss.
yeah, I mean, I think he's like 22-8. He's like 22-8 or something in the past 52 weeks against guys ranked outside the top 50, which is bad.
Yeah.
But it's not like atrocious. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. It's like around FAA, so it's like it's the same sort of issue, I guess. I have a hard time differentiating for him. Like, is it a slams problem or is it
Well, I
like, is it a
actually
best of
think the
five
longer
problem?
the longer the match goes, the more the opponent kind of gets used to his game and adjusts
I'll
accordingly.
disagree there. I mean, I think
No?
that was an interesting point. Because I was thinking about the same thing myself. There's like the results don't really bear that out. Like he just seems to struggle generally in slams. Like it's not like it's not like he's going up 2-11 and then blowing 2-set leads, which is what like that would tell you guys are making adjustments. Like it just feels if you look at his results, like he just seems to not do well in best of five, which is weird.
I think he also gets tight. He also gets kind of in his own way. Like, I mean, all these losses are in tight three setters. Like the Simone, it was a tight three setter. To Wu today was a tight three setter. Paparin was a tight five setter. Like, I feel like I think nerves kind of get to him in a way as well.
Maybe it's an interesting point. I wonder how true that is though for like in general, if you're losing to players who are worse than you, like you would think if you're losing to players worse than you, you're not going to get like blown out on a regular basis by players who are worse than you, right? Like if you have an issue beating players who are worse than you, it's probably going to be
You are,
mostly
but
close losses.
very often recently, he's not come on top in those matches. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's expected to win, and he feels that pressure of being expected to win, which causes him to kind of play worse in those key moments. You know, I don't know. But I think like it's a real issue because like there's a trend of this now. And I feel
There's
like
a slight trend, right? I think I put it in a similar bucket to FAA. Like I think we talk about it being an issue for FAA, so we should talk about it being an issue for Fritz. But I don't think it's like as dire maybe as like I think there's a little bit of recency bias here if you're making it like a dire issue.
I don't know. I put FAA in a different category. I feel like FAA is more like his issues kind of stem from just kind of early slam nerves. And I feel like he has a better track record of beating top guys as well. Like he's a more established top 10 player.
I think he's a better player, right? I think he's just a better player, is what I would say. Like,
okay.
I think it's close, but I think he's a better player. I mentioned that because their records are very similar against guys outside the top 50, where they're winning like 3 out of 4, which again isn't great. Like you see guys like Sinner
Not
who
great,
just
yeah.
dominate. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, and most guys are winning like 80% of those cases, and they're winning like 70. So it's like, it's an issue, but like I don't know. I guess my
I
concern
don't
would
know.
be like
I don't put Fritz and FAA in the same category. Maybe they have the same issue when it comes to this, but I feel like FAA is just a higher caliber tennis player, and
I think, but I don't think the gap is that huge, right? Like Fritz is still like I'd still call Fritz a top 10-ish player in the world.
yeah.
Borderline
I
top
mean,
10.
FAA is
And
also way better tactically, right? Like he has more capability of making in-match adjustments.
um
I mean,
I agree with you. I
you were
agree with
praising
you. I
FAA
think
for
he's but I think he might just be a better athlete also, which kind of like enables that, right? Like
yeah. Yeah. It's probably true.
I guess what I kind of don't like is this the theory that like Fritz like uh hasn't gotten the most like if you're taking it from a perspective of like he hasn't gotten the most out of his game or something like that, like I think that's a bad take. I
Mhm.
think it's more that there's like he's just stiff. He's like not a very fluid athlete.
Yeah. But I don't know. I attribute these issues more mentally than physically, in my
So
opinion.
that's the difference. I don't. I think this is just
More
like
physical.
I just like I don't think like when have you ever seen Fritz go to like a slice heavy game or like when have you seen Fritz start ever looping the ball? Like he's never shown that he like like I like
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see him maybe come in a little more. I mean, he can play a couple slices, let's slice down the line here or there. You know,
but he's
um,
not. I mean, but when have we seen him do it? Right? Like he
right.
just might not have the shot in the bag.
I know, but I want to see him implement these tactics and kind of problem solve his way out of a tough situation like he was. Like
I just
you
think it's
was the
easier.
better
That may be
problem
easier
solver
said than
today.
done for him, right? Like it's like if that's not a part of your game, like then you have to physically develop that. Which is like again, not like that's not a gimme.
Okay, all right. I mean, he's a top 10 player and he's not playing top 10 tennis right now. So
Yeah,
I,
but is he playing that badly? Like he had a good run at the end of last year. He did pretty well at United Cup.
yeah, and he did well at the ATP finals, but I mean, these bad losses are not good, and I
I
think
agree with you.
if
I just don't know that
he
like
wants to take that next step and be a consistent threat at slams and stuff, like he's far away from that in my eyes. And it's more because of the mental part of it. I mean, we could disagree.
yeah,
I agree that
I don't
he's
know if
stiff,
it's mental
but
or if it's just like a lack of having like that many clubs in the bag. Right? Like it's like that's like if he can't hit a slice backhand, that's not mental. That's he doesn't have a slice backhand. If he's not athletic enough to like
so
play
do you
different types of tennis because he doesn't have the ability to run to do that, then that's an ability problem. It's not a mental problem.
so what do you think his upside is? Do you think he's kind of maxed out? Do you think that's where he's gonna like kind of his
Yeah. Yeah,
ranking?
I think he's pretty close to maxed out. I mean, like, what makes you say he could ever be better than FAA? What makes you say he can ever be better than Sissipas? What makes you say he can ever be better than so like what is the next step for you? The next step is being in that those guys level, right?
Well, do you think he ever reaches top 5 and makes a slam final?
I guess he could reach top 5 because like just in terms of pure ranking points for like a few weeks, right? He has a good run at a tournament, like makes it and then like stays there for a couple weeks, but because plenty of guys do that, right? Like guys pop into the top 5 like very briefly. Um, does he make a slam
I
final? I don't know. I guess it depends on the draws, right? Like if he gets the right
Yeah.
draw,
I mean,
like if he gets an amazing draw and other guys get knocked out, but he'd have to fix the slam issues. But
I
I
honestly
don't know.
don't see it like what I've seen the last couple. I think he's going to be out of the top 10 pretty soon. And like if he continues in this form, he's obviously not going to defend his Indian well points. You
So
know,
how far do you think he falls?
probably 15 to 20 in that area.
I mean, let's look at who's 15 to 20. Like, which is disappointing because I was a Fritz guy. But
Yeah.
and I still am a Fritz guy. I mean, Kachanov, Tiafo, Busta, Nori, like, are those guys gonna pass him, do you think?
I mean, he has a lot of points to defend at Indian Wells, right? If he, I mean, I know he's done well there, the last couple of years, and he grew up there, but
If he makes yeah.
he's
So
gonna
if he does,
have
I
to
mean,
make
let's
at
say he
least
only
a
defends 200 of those
quarterfinal to.
points, that's making a quarters, which is probably a pretty good guess. If he makes a quarters,
Honestly, that's a pretty good that draw is going to be so freaking deep. Like that's actually a decent result.
so if he makes quarters, he would fall roughly out of the top 10. Obviously, it depends on what happens between now and then. But he would fall roughly out of the top 10, probably somewhere between 10 and 15. And that might be his true level. Like maybe where I was overrating him as a top 8 based on how well he did at the finals. Maybe he is 10 to 15.
Yeah, that's probably where I put him. Maybe not 16 to 20. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I just feel like I was watching him all this week, even against Giron, even against Jack Sock. Like there's so many. There are more holes than you think in his game, and he doesn't have a plan B. And it's just maybe it's due to his stiffness, but if it's not working, it's tough sledding for him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like he's also always had like this issue of playing a little bit down to his or playing. I don't even want to say playing a bit down, like playing to the levels of his competition. Because again, like at World Tour Finals, he was great, right? He was competitive with Djokovic.
True.
Like,
True.
so it feels like he competes with everyone. But like he doesn't. I agree with you. There's an issue in terms of slams, and there's an issue in terms of not putting these guys away. I'm just not.
The difference is you think it's more physical, and I think it's more mental.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, let's move on. That's an interesting topic, though. It's an interesting.
It is.
Topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
As far as my other bets in the other tournaments today, Cordoba was amazing for me. So Coria money line versus ARV.
You have a big futures there, right? Did you hit Coria 20 to 1?
I did. I parlayed it with other things. I got greedy. And I parlayed it with Tiafo, and I parlayed it with Sinner to win, like each of them to win at like 375 to 1, and I didn't place the individual bet, so that was kind of painful. But yeah, I've been high on Coria this entire tournament. Like I think this guy loves the conditions, and he really showed me something on clay last year, like throughout the entire season. And I just,
oh, he's a great clay court and he's a great battler. Like I won't
great
disagree
battler.
with you there. I had ARV to beat him in 3 sets in that match at plus 380, which I still don't regret. I mean, ARV had I think 3 set points or something like that in the second set.
He did, and Coria had that injury scare, right, with his ankle.
Yeah, which I guess is a question mark going forward and worth discussing, especially for the final tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But I mean, I was impressed how Coria kind of regrouped from that, and he, and came back and won that set, because that 6-5 game to break back to force a tiebreak was quite impressive. He had some great points there to force that.
I agree with you. There was a great defensive point on set point. I don't know. I still am pretty disappointed in ARV blowing that. But it feels like he is, the same like mental issues, man.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's different. It's not the same mental issues as first, but I mean, like we've seen this story with ARV before, where he gets close to beating good guys and can't close the door.
It's a similar problem that Carreno Busta has, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably at a higher level than ARV, but kind of the similar type of issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's part of the reason why I bet Korea here. And then also, I didn't really like the way ARV played against Lajovic and played against Zhao Souza. Like, he struggled against those guys.
I mean, I saw when we talked about this, I didn't, I loved the odds more than I loved the line. I thought it was really a coin flip match. I still feel like it was a coin flip match. Those were two very tight sets. ARV just made some strange tactical decisions on some important points. Also, that court in Cordoba is horrible. Like, these South American courts are like not fit for professional tennis. Do you see the number of bad bounces?
So many bad bounces. It's crazy.
Like, it's amazing. You would think like for an ATP tournament, they would, they would have like, and like you see the courts at Roland Garros and they don't have this problem. Or the courts at any like the major clay masters, like it's just the South American clay courts that have these problems.
Yeah. It's pretty bad conditions for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was good. And then Baez -2.5 against Delian. I mean, Delian played a great match the day before against Cerundolo, and
I honestly didn't think that was a great match. I'm going to disagree with you there. I thought that was a pretty bad match, actually.
I thought it was good from Delian, a nice comeback where he kind of stayed mentally strong and was the physically fitter of the two.
I thought it was a good, I guess from that aspect, sure, but I thought the actual tennis was pretty poor. The whole match, to be honest. Delian was pretty good in the third set, but Cerundolo was just awful and just handing him points every fourth ball with errors. Like,
but the
it was
first
pretty
set
embarrassing.
And a half was pretty decent, and then it just kind of tailed off as Cerundolo just caved.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the match. I was not nearly as impressed. It wasn't nearly as good as Korea ARV today.
Yeah, that's definitely a different level. But I thought that was a kind of a long physical battle where he had to come back, and I thought Baez is just a different level so than the bad Cerundolo. So, I thought taking 2.5, laying 2.5 games was a good bet there.
I laid 3. I laid 3, and I also he won 4 and 4. He was just a little bit better than Delian, which he's just a better player than Delian. Baez is pretty good on clay.
He is.
Like, he can't really play anywhere else, but on clay he's decent.
He is.
He's actually really good on clay.
Yeah.
And
then Montpelier, I had Sinner -3.5 against Fields. So I was like, this is where Fields' run is over. I thought it was over yesterday. It wasn't. But yeah, Sinner, I mean, he was actually lucky to come out of that first set unscathed. Like that could have easily gone to Fields. And I think he saved 2 set points and then broke to win the set and then got an early break in the second. And that was the turning point. So.
Yeah, I stayed away from that. I just thought I actually thought it was a pretty well set line, given that it was that Fields was at home. But I'm not surprised that Sinner won. I just thought it was a pretty well set line. I don't know if I have anything else really to brag about from that tournament. I think.
Well, who do you think's upside is better, Fields or Wu? Like, if you had to kind of project their careers.
I still think Wu at this point. Like, Wu's ground strokes are so good, man, off both wings.
Very solid. That's true. But Fields is a better athlete.
Yeah, this is why it's tough. Like, it's really, really tough to judge this because Wu is the better player right now. But I guess there's definitely more upside that Fields hasn't tapped into yet. I'm sure there's more upside for Wu as well, but I guess if you're talking pure upside, probably Fields just because he's a better athlete. Like, I don't think Wu is a top 10 player ever.
I don't really know how much better Wu can ever play than he did in the third set today. Like, he kind of redlined there especially at the end.
Right. So the question then is but that was top 30, top 20 tennis he was playing.
Yeah, but I think Fields has that. Like, he had, how old is he? 18?
Yeah. Well, this is why it's really tough. So if you're asking me who I think will have the better career, I'm going to go with Wu. Who has more pure upside? I think Fields. Right? Like, they're different things, if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I probably
yeah, Fields is the star of this tournament, man. Or
yeah,
really the star of the
he
past.
was
Him and
fantastic.
Wu are really the stars of the past week.
He was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I thought Hallis, was going to beat Fields the day before, and Fields took it to him. Like that was an
Yeah.
impressive performance. Like, so that
Any thoughts on Cressy Coric? I hit that on the money line. I got Cressy over Coric in the quarters, yesterday in Montpelier. What do you think about any thoughts on either of those guys?
so Coric, I'm fading heavy. I don't like what I've seen from him. Just basically what's keeping him in the top 30 is that Cincinnati run last year.
Yeah,
So I'm just not impressed by him. I think he's kind of like, I don't know. Is he a defensive player? Is he an offensive player? Is he like, what is he? Like I don't think he really has an identity on the court. I don't think he really knows what he's truly doing. Like I know what he's doing, but I don't think he really has an identity on the tennis court. And these courts are really good for Cressy. Like it's very, very hard to break him here.
it
And
is. It is. And he beat Room today.
tough.
I agree. I think indoors also suits Cressy way better because he almost hits like two first serves, like a lot of the time. And I think that plays a lot better on an indoor court. We don't have to worry about conditions.
Right.
I
mean, he was clutch. I mean, Coric had a few break points here and there, and I mean that's the reason why I played.
He had Cressy closed out from love 40 down to win the match.
Yeah, impressive.
Yeah,
but that's the reason why I played Rune -3.5 because I thought, first of all, their Australian Open match, Rune broke Cressy in all 3 sets, so I thought that the matchup actually was okay. Plus, if Coric is having break points against Cressy, Rune probably will generate his own as well, but that just wasn't to be. So
yeah, I didn't hit that. I thought that 3.5 was the perfect line for that match, so I stayed away completely.
Okay. Are you feeding Coric hard like I am?
Pretty hard. I mean, we'll have to see what the lines look like. But yeah, I think he's a guy I'm llooking to fade. I'm just not. I agree with everything you said about Coric. That's actually why I brought up the conversation.
Yeah. I thought Isner -1.5 sets against Gomez was a genius bet. I actually think that was one of our smarter plays.
Yeah, we both hit that.
Yeah.
Man, so close. Isner's in the finals. We talk so much shit about him, but he made it through the finals.
The guy's mentally strong. Let's give him that, right?
Oh, mentally, for sure. He's one of the most clutch players on tour.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive actually. I mean, to have we make fun of him for just having a terrible game from the baseline and kind of only playing select points hard, but he really plays the score well, and the guy is mentally tough as nails.
He is. Yeah. But it's just gonna be really hard for him this year because he can't break anybody. I mean, even the break he had against Wolf today was, I mean, he did not, the 30 all point from Wolf was terrible. He gave Isner like multiple passing attempts for no reason.
Yeah.
And then he double faulted to give him the break at 30-40.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
Yeah. So how about this? You hit this too. Rune -1.5 sets against Barrere, right? So.
Did I hit that? That was in the quarters, right? I think I might have stayed away in the end. Let me see. I don't think I hit that. I think I stayed off it.
So, I mean, Rune -1.5 sets and Isner -1.5 sets. All 4 of those sets were 7-6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. So
yeah, I think I ended up avoiding that. I thought that I got scared because the French crowds really root for their players, probably more than any other country.
Probably. Yeah. That's true. And Barrere did play an excellent match. So
yeah.
My dumbest bet of these couple days is Sonego +3.5 against Sinner. Like that was just not a smart bet. just Sinner. I mean, as we said multiple times, he just feasts on these guys below the top 40. And Sonego
Yeah.
was one of them. And yeah, just Sonego actually played pretty well. Like he was kind of redlining his game, but it's just like he just can't match Sinner's quality. It's just that simple. I thought I called this match perfectly to Coria Cerundolo because we knew that Cerundolo was coming in with an injury, and I said only place that bet on a book which pays you out for money line bet. You
Yeah,
know,
I was really stupid. I got greedy and went Coria minus the 2.5
yeah, you
games.
can't when there's a like an injured player, you got to go money line and place it on a book where they're going to pay you out for.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It was just dumb. I was trying to steal a few extra bucks. I just got greedy. It was not smart. Like
Yeah.
greediest bet of the week for me, and I paid for it. Um,
uh,
yeah, but overall, Cordoba was pretty good for me
yeah.
up until you
ARV
know
today.
what?
ARV.
Yeah, up until ARV today.
Yeah.
And even there, like I played that at plus 380, so I mean I wasn't like expecting that to happen necessarily. I mean,
Yeah.
I just thought it was like a coin flip match, and I probably slightly underrated like ARV's mental issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So you want to discuss the finals tomorrow?
yeah, I mean, so I guess we can start in Montpelier. You got Sinner versus Cressy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interesting matchup. Um, Obviously, anytime Cressy plays anybody, it's an interesting matchup because of his style of play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, man. Like this is a weird thing, and like the surface suits Cressy really well. And Cressy's playing really well. That said, Sinner feasts on guys outside the top, who are not as good as him.
But this is a matchup which is kind of different, right?
It
It's
is.
not something so
They've played
throw it out the
once. They
window.
played back in Lexington 3 years ago.
Okay.
And Sinner won in 3 sets, but Sinner was the better player by far in the 2 sets that he won, and the set he lost was a tiebreak, like 13-11. He lost it. So it's like 6-4, 6-7, 6-1 or something. So overall, I think the line when I saw it was 3.5. Is it still at 3.5, or has it moved to 3?
3.5.
Yeah, I actually think this is the perfect line. I think there'll be one tiebreak and one
Either
and
6-3 or
one
6-4 set.
yeah. So I'm gonna stay away. But yeah, I think the books have called this one pretty well. Do you like Cressy here or not? Plus, we both have the Sinner at plus 300, right? So we both have like an implicit.
Yeah, we have the futures, so I might just ride the futures. I kind of am. I want to hedge with Cressy. I just think his serve is just going to be so hard to break on the serve. And like, how many times has he been broken all tournament? Like once or twice?
Something like that. But Sinner's a really good returner, actually. Or he plays really good return games. He's so good off the baseline. He returns well, so like Cressy coming in is going to have like harder volleys than normal because Sinner's so aggressive as a returner.
Is he a better returner than Rune?
Yes. I
Yeah,
mean, looking at it, like,
I probably agree with that.
yeah.
I don't know. I think the way I'm gonna play this, I think I'll play I think I might lay the juice and play over 22 at minus 170 because you get a push if it's 6-3 and if it's 6-4 one set. Well, with a tiebreak set.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's
How do you like the prop for over 0.5 tie breaks at minus 135?
I actually like that. That I like.
That's if I play that match, that's how I'm gonna play it.
I like that. I think that I agree with that. Will there be a tiebreak in the match minus 135? Yeah, I mean, has Cressy played a tiebreak in each one of his matches this week?
No, Rusevori he beat 4-4.
okay. That doesn't really tell me that much, I guess. And then
Sinner, though, because he's a good returner, he doesn't play very many tie breaks. So like it's very weird in that
that's
like
true. And we
Cressy.
did bring that up in previous matches, right? That he played at the Australian Open. We didn't think that there would be that many tie breaks with Sinner.
Yeah.
Um,
But like if Cressy's serving really well, what can he do? Like if Cressy's playing the way he was playing today, Sinner's gonna have a hard
not
time
much
breaking
Sinner
him.
can
Anyone's
do,
gonna have a hard
right?
time breaking him.
Yeah, I mean, he took when he was serving like this when he played Djokovic at the Paris indoors, and I think it was 6-6.
That's so right, exactly. So like if Cressy's serving this, you know what I mean? So like it's tough. I guess I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I kind of want to play like play the tiebreak at -135 and then just leave it at that.
I mean, I think it's a or I mean, since we have the Sinner future, I think it's actually smart to hedge with Cressy. I mean, don't bet him to win outright, but bet him like to plus the games, for example. No.
I'll probably just lay off the game spread. I just think that game spread is so perfectly set. Like,
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll tell you tie break in the match -135. I like that. Either that or the over on games, but I'm probably gonna go with the tie break.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's an interesting final. Um, if it was Rune versus Sinner, I'd probably go with Rune. I wonder where they would set that line, but like it's funny how Sinner just has tough time against top 10 guys.
Well, we've talked about this before, right? So here I will agree with you. Like here, Sinner. Here I think Sinner I just think he lacks enough variety in order to beat top 10 guys. Like, right? I mean, Sinner has almost. I would say Sinner has very well,
But so going back to Fritz, like Fritz plays better against top 10 guys, but Sinner and Fritz kind of have similar games where it's just hitting big from the baseline. So why does Sinner?
Yeah, but I think Sinner hits bigger and makes more errors. I think is the problem, right? Like, I don't even know if I would say Fritz hits that big. I just think Fritz is like hits like a lot of like really quality shots, right? But like
Yeah.
quality, but they're all kind of the same. They're just like good deep cross court balls. Like,
But you
I
think
think
Sinner's
Sinner
more
like
error prone?
I think so. I mean, I'd love to see if stats back that out in any way, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Sinner's more error prone. But he's also a bigger hitter, right? Like, and I think he does more, and I think he's quicker around the court. He certainly isn't as stiff as Fritz.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah.
he has to, he's got actually an okay slice backhand when he needs to use it. He doesn't often, but he kind of has one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see I mean just going forward just kind of from a interest standpoint. I'm interested to see like a Sinner Fritz match, you know. Two guys kind of with similar games, similar issues against kind of kind of just have a plan A, right?
Yeah.
Like Rublev is in that category. Like they're just plan A guys,
Yep.
So yeah. All right. Let's switch over to Dallas. Wu and Isner. Ooh, interesting line here.
So I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna guess like Isner -1 or something, or pretty close to a pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em. Spread is 0. It's Wu -105, Isner -115. And the over-under is 25.5. You have a lean here?
I'm tempted to go Isner, man. Like this is, I mean, as hilarious as it sounds, right? As much as we said fade Isner, like in this spot, right? Like Isner's played plenty of 250 titles matches before, right?
Yeah.
He's it's it's a US crowd, right? So we'll have the crowd support. Not that not that's bothered Wu all tournament, but
Right.
um and he's probably the better like clutch player in a close match. I actually think he's less likely to break. Like I really don't see how he breaks Wu. I said the same thing against Wolf, but Wolf can do some dumb stuff at times, and that's how he got broken. I really don't see him breaking Wu.
But I don't see Wu breaking Isner too.
I know this feels to me this feels, and I think I like the over here. Like I might go Isner in the over 25.5, which is insane, right?
I like the first set over 10.5 games at -105.
Wow, I can't believe it's that low of an over of that I love. I can't believe it's actually over 10.5 at -105. That's insane.
That's my favorite bet that I
Yeah,
see.
I think that's a miss by the books, man.
Well, then we got to take that, right?
Yeah, I think that's a miss.
I mean, it's 10.5.
Especially on on an indoor surface, a relatively fast indoor surface. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Wu went 7-6, 7-5 first two sets against Fritz, where they're rallies. Like, it's very hard to break on this court. Very quick.
yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. So I really love the first set over, and then I think I like Isner also on the money line. And I think I like the over in games in general. Like, I'm probably gonna hit all those.
I'm staying away from over 25.5. That's just it's really high.
It is, but you get if it goes 3 sets, you get that, right?
And if it's 2 tiebreaks, you get it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like, I don't know, man. Wu didn't return that well today against Fritz, to be honest.
That's true. That's true.
Like,
That's a couple games, once in the at the end of the second and once in the third set. Like,
yeah, but I mean, Fritz had a lot of love holds.
yeah, Fritz missed a lot of first serves in that game, and basically Isner's second serve is pretty much Fritz's first serve.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
So, but with Wu's baseline game, I don't see Isner breaking.
But is Wu going to be able to get into points on Isner's serve? It's going to be tough.
I don't think so. No, I don't think very often. No.
And then in the tiebreak, so if it goes to a tiebreak, you're basically betting who's going to win 2 tiebreaks, kind of, right? If you want to put it that way. If we don't think either guy's going to break each other, right?
Then you're betting on tiebreaks, right?
You're at least for the first 2 sets, you're way better tiebreak player. So yeah, I guess you got to hit Isner here.
Yeah.
Interesting how like the tables have turned. Like we bet against Isner the entire tournament, and then now we're like,
but we didn't, right? We bet for him in the quarters. We bet against him in the semis. True. Like, it's
semis. Right? We bet against him. We bet Wolf.
What? We bet Wolf. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. In this match, though, it's a final of a 250. I think you got to go Isner.
I think so. It's it's a huge match for Isner, but he's been here before. It's a huge match for Wu when he hasn't been here before.
Right. Okay. All right. And the first half over, we got to hit that.
The first set, you mean?
Yeah, first set over 10.5.
Wrong sport, Manny. I know there's a big football game coming up tomorrow, but
yeah. All right, Cordoba. The 2 Argentines, Baez and Coria.
Well, not the 2 Argentines, like 2 of the Argentines, right? Like,
well, I mean, Schwartzman is kind of an afterthought right now. So
is Cerundolo?
Kind of. I mean,
the correct answer to that question, Manny, is which Cerundolo? Remember, there are 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, I think. Well, both of them are not playing well. I think the other Cerundolo lost in qualifying of Buenos Aires.
He
today,
did. He
right?
did.
And we bet
We
four.
both bet that. That was actually probably
did,
our
yeah.
best bet.
Yannick Hanfmann, baby.
Yeah. But I mean, that's got to be rough for Cerundolo, right? On no days rest. And they played, and that match was during the day. He played at
Yeah, it was
night
like
last night.
all those qualifying matches are early.
Right. And
It's like
he had to
3:30.
play at night and then with like 20 hours rest, get from Buenos Aires to Cordoba. I think those are like 400 miles away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to make, so that probably was a flight.
Yeah,
And then had to play a match. Like, that's not that easy.
it's not, which is why I was very surprised that Hanfmann was an underdog in that match. We got him at plus 120.
Yeah, I was surprised. It was plus 120, but I was surprised when, and it's not like Cerundolo's Novak Djokovic.
I know, right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I thought that was a great bet, and yeah, it went to 3 sets, but we hit it.
We did.
So, I mean, I think these are the 2 best Argentines on clay right now.
That's probably true. That's probably fair.
Yeah. So, now how much of that injury, like, is that a big question mark? You think that ankle is going to swell up overnight and going to kind of,
So I think the line here was Baez -3, right?
Mm-hmm. It's still that. That is still the line.
I'm hitting Baez and laying the 3 games.
Okay.
I don't think the 3 games are that big of a deal here. Again, these guys aren't going to play like there's going to be plenty of breaks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I think this line is assuming the injury is nothing, right? This line is assuming that the injury is no problem here. And do I think like Corey's gonna play? Yeah, 100%. But if it's any kind of problem at all, like Baez is really good on clay.
He is good, and I know Baez won like 250s last year on clay. Did Corey? Hasn't won ATP.
I don't think he's won a single title in the ATP
Yeah.
level. But Corey is playing well right now. Like, I think it's a good match. It should be fun to watch. One thing to look at is you know what? Actually, so I'm gonna go with I am gonna go with Baez here. And here's the thing, right? This match is being played tomorrow night in Cordoba. It's a 7 p.m. local start, I think. So it's gonna be cooler. I think that Corey has benefited big time this week from the conditions. With that spin, right? If it's a warmer day, the ball should kick up more.
True.
So I think the conditions here play into Baez's advantage, actually.
Yeah, so it's 5 p.m. our time, 7 p.m. their time.
Yep.
Have they played before?
Although it's supposed to be super hot again tomorrow, the match time weather is 90 degrees.
Yeah, but there's no sun, so I actually think that the sun is what impacts the high bouncing more, right? Than the
Well, it's the temperature of the surface, right? Not the temperature of the air, but the surface will probably still be pretty warm from the hot day, but not as warm. You're right.
Yeah.
I still think this plays to Baez in a night match.
And also Baez played his matches primarily later in the day. So I feel like he's used to those kind of night.
Yeah, Corey has played all his matches in the middle of the day.
Right. So, and I think that, say the ankle was not a question mark, I'd probably play Coria +3 here. But because of that, I'm going to go the other way and play Baez -3 and tail you. But I actually think that ankle is a cause for concern because, like, during the match, there's adrenaline. He just did it. They taped it up and it was fine, right? But then...
Well, and he only had to get through 3 games.
3 games, right. So, but then now, when you get back in the locker room and then, 24 hours, that ankle might swell up a little bit. But he really wants to play. This is a huge match for him, going for his first ATP title.
Yeah.
So, I think that's too big of a question mark. I'm also considering playing Baez on the money line on that book to kind of hedge for the retirement.
Yep.
I think that's a smart play as well. Because of that injury question mark, I'm not going anywhere near the total. I'm just going to go money line and spread here. But yeah, any props you like here?
Honestly, I haven't really looked too much at the props yet. I mean, the the tie break prop wasn't great. I saw this line a few hours ago.
How about the set spread -1.5 sets at +135?
That's interesting. It's interesting. I probably won't hit it, but I think it's interesting.
You prefer the games? Because the games you're laying juice. Well,
Yeah,
not much juice. -105.
Yeah, I think I like it better. I mean, there could look. The set scores could be in any direction here, right? Like the set scores could be anything here. There's no there could be 6-2 sets. There could be close sets. Like I have, who knows?
Yeah, no read on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think every game is almost not every, like both guys are going to compete. It'll be a well fought match, but you could see a whole bunch of close games go to one guy. Right? You could see a guy string off like 2 or 3 deuce games in a row and take a set 6-2.
Yeah. I mean, Baez is the better player. And with the Correa injury question mark, you have to go Baez here. I don't think you can go Correa.
Yeah, I think it's pick your favorite Correa line. Or not favorite Baez line. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think I'm going to go -1.5 sets. I like that because you're getting +135 on that.
Yeah, I'm debating it. I have to think about that. I was going with the games, but I might change the sets. I don't know. It's tough.
All right. Well, interesting match. So which of the 3 finals are you looking most forward to?
Oh, Cordoba. The problem is that's during the Super Bowl. Like the end of that match is going to be during the Super Bowl.
I know. That's true.
When is the Houston match? That's got to be during the day, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 2 o'clock.
So like a 3 p.m. start? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, 2 p.m. And then Montpelier is in the morning, 9 a.m.
Oh, it's a 2 p.m. Eastern start or a 2 p.m. Houston start?
That's a good question.
It's a 2 p.m. Eastern start.
2 p.m. Eastern start, yeah.
Yeah, they're making sure they have plenty of time before the Super Bowl.
Right.
Can you imagine if it was 5:30 p.m. and there was the crowd filing out in the middle of the third set? Which I totally could see happening, by the way, in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys are not in the Super Bowl. But, I mean, there are more Cowboy fans, I feel like, outside of Dallas than there are in Dallas. Right?
Yeah. I just feel like American football, right? What sport is bigger, American football, the Super Bowl, or Wu Yibing versus John Isner?
Yeah, I think the Super Bowl takes the Super Bowl.
I think the Super Bowl will get higher ratings, Manny. What do you think?
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, then tennis channels. I mean, tennis channel isn't even on a lot of cable packages, right? Yeah. And I'm sure they'll be the only ones carrying this match.
Well, I can tell you the Super Bowl could be going on, but I'm still going to have my eye on that Cordoba final.
Oh, I will too. I will too. It might be a split screener.
Yeah, tennis commentary is not the best, so I'll probably have the volume on the Super Bowl, but
yeah,
a bigger window will be Cordoba for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so what's funny is they're putting the doubles on second. Oh, that's a good note, by the way, for the Montpelier match. Now the singles is first, but Cressy also played the doubles today.
Interesting. That's a good point. Oh, wow. So he's in the doubles final as well
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. If the doubles was first, that would have a big play a factor. But the fact that singles is first, and he's obviously going to prioritize that. Like he's not going to be thinking
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
himself
I
in
agree with
third
you.
in
But he did
singles.
play. It's more that he did play the doubles all week, right? Including today after a match that went all the way to a deciding tiebreak. But I guess with Cressy, it probably doesn't matter as much because it's so many quick points, right? Like the only question is the is the shoulder sore from hitting a lot of serves? I would doubt it. Otherwise, I would think he wouldn't do both, right? Like
Yeah, I think he's fine.
I would think he knows his body well enough to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, shout out to Tidbits Tennis. I listened to his podcast and he was talking about a Cressy's future, like at the beginning of the tournament at like plus 2,500 or something. That was a good call.
It was. I mean, the courts play really well for him, right? But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, all right. So let's transition to the tournaments this week. There are three tournaments. Where do you want to start?
We can start with Rotterdam, right? So Rotterdam, ATP 500. This is indoor hard, but it's actually plays as a like medium
Pretty
to
slow,
I would
right?
what?
Pretty slow.
It's like medium to slow. Like the official ITF has it as a level 3, which is a medium. But I've always thought it played a little bit slower than that. So I would call this slow to medium, slow, like slow to medium, medium slow, whatever you want to say. That's it's that. Stacked draw, right, Manny?
Stacked. It's unbelievable.
And
Crazy.
deep, like
Deep.
stacked, but also deep.
And then you look at the qualifying draw, it's
Oh, the
pretty.
qualifying draw is insane too. Leshian was in the qualifying.
Yeah, Lestienne. Yeah, Lestienne Bashilashvili, who played this week.
Yeah.
Rodionov against Karatsev. I actually
Yep.
looked at that today.
Hallis against Barrere and
Yep.
Emir against Safulin. Like that's an amazing
That's a
qualifying
deep
draw tomorrow,
qualifying.
man.
Deep
That's
qualifying.
like an ATP level draw for qualies. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's
Did
250
did
level.
all 8 seeds win? No, Rodionov beat Rinderknecht.
Rodionov. Yeah, and I actually bet Rodionov plus 1.5 sets against Rinderknecht. I'm fading Rinderknecht right now. He's actually playing pretty crappy.
Rodionov is a I think he's a pretty young guy, right? Or is he not? I can't remember.
23.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over these matches in the main draw. So, I think these lines are up, to be honest.
They are. They are.
So, have you looked at any of them?
I have. I've actually gone through them.
Oh, you have? Okay, so let's play guess the lines then. So,
all right.
Let's start with Tsitsipas Ruusuvuori. Man, I'm guessing Tsitsipas is a 4-game favorite and probably minus 300 or 350.
You're exactly right.
It's minus.
It's exactly 4.
Okay.
No, sorry, it's moved. Or else maybe it wasn't exactly 4. It's 4.5.
4.5.
But you're way off on the money line. It's minus 650.
Whoa. Have these guys played?
I think they've played once, maybe. I can't remember. Tsitsipas played Davis Cup and he did not play well.
Interesting. Yeah, because that was like World Group 3, so I wasn't really following it, or World Group 2. So why did he lose a set against one of those guys?
No, but he went to a tiebreak with one and 7-5 in the first set with the other. And both guys like outside the top 500.
Wow. So you think there's a post Australian Open letdown a little bit?
I don't know. It's weird, right? It's a weird event. Like, I'm not touching Tsitsipas in a positive way though here.
Yeah.
A, because of that, and B, because otherwise, like that's the only thing we've seen from him since the Australian Open. But Ruusuvuori also doesn't show me anything that would make me want to hit him.
There's actually a match here that kind of like has some precedence in this line. They played last year indoor hard semifinal, and Tsitsipas blew him away 6-2, 6-2.
Yeah, and Rusevori has a tendency to have this issue of like going away, and he's not always like the best. I mean, that's why I'm staying away here. Like, I can't see why I would hit this for Rusevori, but I also can't see why I would hit this for Tsitsipas.
And what's the over under?
22. I think it's the neutral 22.
Yeah, I don't think it. It's interesting that you say that he was
Sorry, it's 21. It's not 22, it's 21.
Still. I might play the under there. Maybe.
I'm not going to, because that's basically playing Tsitsipas, right?
Yeah, basically, but well, I think it could be like a 4-4 scoreline. So, I mean, I guess at that point, play Rusevori plus 4.5. I'll have to think about it a little more. It's looking more like a pure stay away.
Because I think it's a pure stay away.
I don't know what Tsitsipas is going to show up. Is there a hangover? Is that Davis Cup playing badly in Davis Cup a fluke? And then he's going to get his back act.
It's also a pretty big crash down, right? Like, and like for Tsitsipas, this is like closer to the bottom of like the like importance of tournament he's going to play.
Right.
Like how much of this is just a warm up to get ready for like the Indian Wells Miami portion of the schedule?
Good point. Although he shows up here every year and does well. Like he made the final last year and lost to FAA.
Yeah.
So this is a tournament which he generally plays pretty well on. So yeah, I mean, maybe see a match and see how he turns up, and then kind of bet him going forward. Next match, Bonzi against Sinner.
Sinner.
Yeah, I mean, Sinner feasts on these guys. Is there going to be a let up after potentially winning a tournament? I don't know, but Bonzi actually has been quite bad since Australia. He played horribly at Davis Cup. He had to actually get benched in the second match, which is quite embarrassing. Yeah, there's probably no line on this, right? Because
there's a line.
Sinner -4.
Sinner -3.5, but it's -130.
I like that.
I'm all over Sinner here. My only caveat is if this, for some weird reason, ends up being a Monday match, I'm going to cancel this bet.
I don't think it will be. I don't
think it will be either. I think given like that Sinner's a big enough name that you want him to play the match, I think they'll give him a Tuesday or even a Wednesday. They'll probably be a Tuesday start. They'll probably try to get the whole first round in the first 2 days. But I think it'll be a Tuesday start, probably, if not maybe a Wednesday start. I don't know how they run this tournament in terms of the rounds.
Yeah, if it's a Wednesday start, whether he wins or loses the final or how long that match is.
And I don't even think if it's a Tuesday start, it's that big of a deal.
Probably not.
Because I don't think the trip, it's not that long of a trip.
No.
Right? It's France to
like southern France to northern Europe. It's probably like an 1.5-hour flight.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. Yeah, Sinner -3.5, or I would take that.
Yeah.
Wawrinka Bublik. Oh my god. Well, is there an over under on Bublik racket smashes?
There are no props for this match.
Probably go Bublik -2.
A little bit off there. It's a pick'em. It's a pure pick'em.
I feel like you got to go Bublik then.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're overrating like Bublik being on a slow court, but I don't know, man. I don't see like
Well, let's put it out there. That Chile Davis Cup tie was probably the worst court for Bublik.
right. That's and he battled, right? I think he lost, but he battled against Garin.
He did, yeah.
Um, I just don't like Stan. This is also like Stan's just not good anymore. Like he had a really hard time with Altmaier in Davis Cup.
He did. I know. And yeah, Bublik, I mean, even though he lost, he battled back in that match. Like it was a decent mental effort up until that tiebreak, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I think you got to go Bublik. I also think Wawrinka, one of the weakest part of his game is his return of serve,
Well, because
right?
he winds up right on both wings. He's got to wind up to absolutely smash the hell out of the ball.
Well, he also slices a lot of returns back. He doesn't like on the
True, he does.
side.
True, he does. Because if he can't really wind up the backhand, you have to slice.
Like, but also the forehand, he slices a lot because I think he like the grip change is too extreme or something.
Well, it's the same issue, right? The extreme grip change and the big wind. He needs time. Like Wawrinka's always needed time to hit the ball. So why he's always been a terrible grass player.
Right. That being said, you said that this court does play a little bit slow.
Yeah.
But I still think you have to go Bublik here.
I'm hammering Bublik here. Like I think I don't think this should be. I get it, slow court. I think there's a pretty big gap at this point between these two players.
Yeah, it's hard for me to hammer Bublik, as he's kind of a clown. You don't know what kind of Bublik is going to show up, but
I know, but this is a
better tennis player. Yes.
Like I don't like if this is minus 200, it's a much harder call. But as a pick'em,
yeah, I agree with you. I'll tell you. Yeah. All right, next match: Gasquet and Carreño Busta. Ooh, This is very interesting because has Busta played since the Australian Open?
No.
And what was his deal at the United Cup? Like, why didn't he play that? Like, was he kind of hurt or something?
I don't know.
He's played very little tennis all year.
Going to our favorite site?
Yes.
What percentage of your web visits, Manny, are tennisabstract.com?
It's my top visited site right now. It's embarrassing. Yeah, he's only played 3 matches all year long. And they weren't good either. Lost a set lead to Kwan in Adelaide. Tight 3-setter against Kachin, who he really should beat more easily than that. And then he lost a 2-set lead to Bonsai. Yeah. So I think the line here, I think it's slightly going to favor Carreño Busta. It's probably minus 140 for Busta or 150.
How good are you? How good are you, Manny? You're way off.
Way off.
This is minus 250 and minus 3.5 on Busta.
I'm hammering Gasquet.
So
hammering.
I don't know, man. Like
I think I might have these guys played?
They must have. They've had such a long course. This is why I'm not. Busta's 2-0, yeah, against Gasquet.
I mean,
but they haven't played in 5 years.
Long ago, 2018 and 2016. Yeah. So it doesn't really. I'm not putting much stock into that. Gasquet lost to Fields this week.
Yeah.
Tight 2-setter, played decently. Played really well in Auckland, won that event. I don't know. I don't like what I'm seeing from Busta playing so little. And the 3 matches he played, he did not look good. And I'm going to hammer Gasquet there. I'm probably going to sprinkle a little on the money line.
I think if you're going to play it, the money line's the right play. I'm staying away, but I think we're going to play it, the money line's the right play. I might end up playing Gasquet. I'm debating it. Originally, it was a pure stay away for me. Okay. You're moving me towards Gasquet.
There's no Busta line. It's pick your favorite Gasquet line, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you ever play Busta when he has barely played? I mean, at minus 3.5, I think that you can't play that.
No, no.
All right. Holger Rune will play a qualifier. I mean, it will be a pretty decent qualifier. Probably
Yeah.
Lestien, Karatsev,
Rodionov,
House.
Hallis Barrera. I mean, those are good
I mean,
matchups.
Michael Emer. I mean, that's some serious qualifying.
Yeah.
Like, that's not an easy qualifier. I'm curious to see who he's going to play there.
Brower's going to play Huesler.
Brower and Huesler. Uh, I'd say Huesler minus 3.5.
You're close. You might be right on. I saw it. It was pretty close to that. It is. Yep, you hit it right on the head. Huesler minus 3.5.
I mean, so Brower has the home court, but he has not been good. And he's been playing a lot of challengers. Yeah, look at all these losses here. He lost to Virtanen pretty easily in Vilnius. Koblenz, he lost first round. Kimper, he lost second round. I mean, these are not good results from Brower. I probably take the 3.5 or lay the 3.5.
This is a pure stay away for me. If anything, maybe I'd hit Huesler on the money line, but like a slow court probably isn't better for Huesler. And this is Brower's home court. But he's been so bad.
He's been so bad. Yeah, exactly.
But 3.5 might be relevant here, right? Like that means you need at least one, maybe two breaks from Huesler.
True, and Brower has that lefty serve.
And Huesler's really struggled to break this year. He's played a ton of tie breaks.
Good point. He broke Oscar Ote quite a bit.
Which is weird because Ote is a huge serve.
Yeah,
but
that's true. Maybe play the over on games. Was it 22?
I think it's 23, but I'll check.
Ugh.
I think it's 23.
Ugh.
It is. It's 22. It's the neutral 22.
22. Yeah. I'll have to think about it, but it's looking like a stay away for me. I probably lean Huesler just because Brower's been so bad. Like I'm looking at these results, they're just so bad.
Yeah.
You know, like 4 straight losses here. I mean, losing to Collignon. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next match. Greekspor against a qualifier. I mean, that's gonna be
Kwon against our favorite fade guy, Zverev.
Ooh. You gotta hit Kwon here. I mean, well, the line is probably wow, this is interesting, man. This is really interesting. Are they really gonna put Kwon as a favorite here? Because if I was the book, that's how I would play it. I would do it. But they tend to give Zverev some respect. The line is probably a close to a pick'em, maybe minus 130.
No,
Zverev.
not at all. It's minus 3.5. Minus 250 for Zverev, plus 200 for Kwon on the money line.
Oh, that's like music to my ears.
You got to hit Kwon again, right?
Absolutely.
It's a joke, but
are they really giving that much respect to Zverev?
I mean, Kwon's kind of bleh, and he hasn't really played since.
Well, I was impressed with the way he played against Goffin at Davis Cup. That was a decent win.
Yeah, the only scary thing I guess here is Kwon, like, he's coming from Korea. I don't know when.
Yeah, but I can imagine he probably, after Davis Cup, he maybe stayed a couple days and then left because he knew he was playing this tournament. I can't imagine he would, when he has a week in between. I don't think.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
he's a
I
professional
wouldn't think
enough
so
guy where
either.
he would not kind of go to a tournament where there's like 10 hours jet lag. He'd get there and be fresh.
I would think.
But yeah, I mean, Juanis had a good season. Like he won a tournament. I mean, he did.
He did. He did. He won a
And
tennis
then
tournament.
I
I
mean,
mean,
the,
you're
the,
right.
the
Yes, he did.
loss to Bergs was bad, but then he rebounded and beat Goffin. So that's he has a good taste in his mouth after winning that tie.
Yeah.
And Zverev, does a win versus Wawrinka really change your
Oh
opinion
yeah.
of the guy?
That's a big win, man. He beat a multi Grand Slam champion. Wait. We're talking about the 2018 win over Wawrinka, the 2023 win.
Yeah, exactly.
2023
That's
wins irrelevant. Yeah, not a
yeah.
big deal to beat Wawrinka at this point.
I'm hammering Kwan there. What, plus 250?
200.
200. Okay. Still, that's amazing. That's amazing. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I wanted to stay away, but I think the line's just too good.
It's too good. That's a great.
Like,
Next match, Medvedev and Fokina. Oof. Let's say Medvedev minus 4.
4.5.
4.5 is steep. But okay, so breaking down this matchup, this is a perfect matchup for Medvedev. And this is the worst matchup for Fokina. Because Fokina is very erratic, right? And he hates balls keep coming back because I feel like Fokina loves kind of pushing the envelope and kind of overhitting.
He also loves to do like his athletic Fokina things.
Right.
But he's kind of an unorthodox player.
He is. But he misses a lot.
He does. He does.
And that's what Medvedev feasts on. He's waiting for you to miss. So, I mean, have these guys played? One Love on clay. Okay, so that's a different story.
But that's Medvedev's worst surface.
Right. And he still won the match.
Yeah.
I might play the under here. What is it? 21? 20?
Probably. I think it's 21. It is 21.5.
I'm going to play the under there. I don't think Fokina can stay with Medvedev with rally tolerance to kind of force it to a tiebreak or, generate scoreboard pressure. That's kind of the way I'm looking at that match. Do you agree? Like, how are you playing?
I'm pure staying away. Medvedev hasn't played since the Aussie. So I'm just pure staying away for that fact alone.
Okay. All right.
And I don't think this line is ridiculous. Like the Kwan Zverev line, I didn't really want to play the match, but I think I have to at plus 200. I don't think I have a choice. I don't think at minus 4.5 or an over under 21. Like I don't feel compelled to play it.
Okay.
Like it might be a game off. I think I agree with you. Like it probably should be something closer to 5 or 5.5, but
yeah,
I don't feel compelled.
I like the matchup for Medvedev. I think that's stylistically and Davidovich Fokina's kind of weaknesses on hard court kind of feed into what Medvedev likes. So that's
I agree with everything you say. I think it's a great matchup for Medvedev. I hate playing guys as a rule coming off of long layoffs.
Fair. VDZ and Koric. Oof. Two guys I'm currently fading. So it's tough. I mean, I'm sure the books are going to give Koric an edge here. It's probably Koric minus 1.5.
You almost hit on the head. Corch -2.
I think I'm gonna play VDZ there.
I don't think BDZ's played since the Aussie, and I think that's why I'm going to stay away here. But otherwise, this is just so blah.
It is. It is. I mean, two guys I'm fading hard because VDZ
Yeah,
hasn't been good either.
yeah, this is just a bleh match.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just going to stay away.
Yeah.
If I had to hit it, I'd hit Bodic just with the plus money, but it's you.
Yeah. Yeah. Go fan against a qualifier, so we'll see. If it's
Senego FAA.
well, if it's Yemer here, go fan beat Yemer in a challenger final.
Yeah, you have to see who the qualifier is though.
So we'll have to see, yeah. But Sonigo FAA. Oof. FAA hasn't played since Australia either.
Right.
Have these guys played once? 2-6 on clay a couple years ago. FAA is defending champion here. Points to defend. I would say FAA is like a 3-game favorite or a 2.5.
4.
Whoa. All right, I'm gonna play Sonigo +4.
I'm staying away. I actually think 4 is the right line.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
so FAA plays down to the level of his competition. That's a known fact. Sonigo played. He loves indoor hard. That's his best surface.
but this is a slower indoor hard.
Slower, but still without elements and without wind. He likes it. Sonigo played last week in Montpelier, so he's kind of, in the rhythm. FAA starts tournaments slow. Right? So there's a lot of things kind of pointing me in Sonigo's direction here. And
Yeah,
4 games is quite a lot.
4 games is a lot. And but do you think Senego takes a set?
I could very well see it. I think like 6-4 is like or 6-5 is a more realistic line. So I wouldn't play +1.5 sets, but I like the 4 games a lot.
I think you're probably right. I think this line should be more like 3.5 personally. But I think the books have it close enough that I'll go with my standard line if I don't feel compelled to play it. So I'll probably stay away.
Okay. I mean, to me,
yeah, I mean, Senego, I don't know. He beat Bonsai and he beat Krajinovic. That's not terrible. But then he got beat up pretty good by Sinner.
But Sinner doesn't have that problem of playing down to the level of the competition.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
And FAA hasn't played. And he didn't play well the last time he did play.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear all your points. Yeah, I don't think there's any value here on FAA for sure. It's close. I can see the Senego play. I don't hate it. I think it's okay.
Hurkacz and RBA. Oof. So RBA has been actually quite bad recently.
This is February
RBA. So January RBA is good and February RBA starts bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Difference.
February RBA. But Hurkacz doesn't really do well on return either. I mean, I would say Hurkacz is probably a 2.5 game favorite here.
2.
Do you have a lean here?
No, I'm staying away. Hurkacz, Agut's been so bad, and Hurkacz
Hasn't played since Australia.
Yeah, so I have no interest in this match.
So you're kind of gonna like wait the first round out, see how these guys are playing, and then
Yeah, I mean, unless like there's a line that makes me take somebody, yeah, you know.
okay.
And I just feel like you never know the first match back off these long layoffs how these guys are going to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably lay off that too. If I'm kind of leaning her catch -2. Just
Yeah, I
because
mean, in
it's
terms of
not
the
bad.
player level, right? Like that makes a lot of sense. It's just
Yeah. And RBA has been bad. Like that loss to Fields, like in straights, it's not good.
not good at all.
No. So Dimitrov against a qualifier, Van Riethoven against Cressy. Ooh. Wow. I don't have that much confidence that Cressy can back up a run that he has in Montpellier well. You know, and also with his serve and volley play, like it actually takes a lot of energy out of you. You know?
Yep.
So, and Van Riethoven has his crowd. Do they have a lineup for this?
They do.
They do. I would say Cressy's -2.
Yep.
I'd probably take Van Riethoven.
I'm doing the same thing. Or you're going to tell me on this,
Yeah.
without knowing. Yeah, I like this. Van Richthofen, he's at home. He's got a pretty good like serve game.
Mhm.
And this is a slower hard court, right? It's so granted it is indoors,
Yeah.
which is probably a bigger deal for Cressy than the court speed necessarily. But he is coming off a big run. Also, like coming off that big run, like is he able to mentally get it back up, right? So I think there's enough questions here that against a guy on his home court, I'll take Van Richthofen and take the 2 games. I also think the 2 games are relevant, right? Against Cressy.
They are relevant. They are relevant. I wouldn't take Van Riethoven on the money line.
Yeah, but I think the 2 games matter here.
Games matter. I agree. I'm going to tell you on that. I like that. Demonor Rublev. Oof. Demonor. Oh, so Australia qualified for the Davis Cup finals, so he didn't have to play. Rublev obviously hasn't played since Australia.
You mean he didn't get to play Davis Cup? They had a match in Russia, actually. It was because Russia is the only country in the world. It was Russia against Belarus.
Yeah.
He played Azarenka.
Yeah.
Since Azarenka's, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And not enough Russia jokes.
This is interesting, actually. This is an interesting match. I would say Rublev is like a 2.5 game favorite.
3.
I'll play Demonor here. I
have no interest. I mean, this match to me is a complete. Neither guy's played since the AO. Like to me, this is a complete stay away. You just don't know how good each guy's going to be. I don't think the line's disrespectful to either guy.
But that being said, I trust Demonor to kind of play better off of a long layoff just because of game style. Like Rublev has to really be feeling it to play his game well.
I agree, but 3, I mean, Rublev's the better player, and if he's playing well, he's just going to destroy Demonor. Like Demonor is not going to hurt him.
Yeah, but I feel like Rublev might come out of the blocks slow, right?
To me, it's a dead stay away. Okay. He might. I don't disagree with you. That's why it's a stay away for me. He could come out of the blocks slow, in which case Demonor will cover, at least if not win. Or he could come out of the blocks fine, in which case he'll dominate Demonor and Demonor won't cover.
These are it's the 2 guys that got absolutely destroyed by Djokovic at the Australian Open.
Yeah.
Demonor did slightly better. So he covered. No, he did not. They both didn't cover against Djokovic, but they covered the spread in the beatdown. So,
I hear you. I hear you.
so yeah. So, any futures values here? Anything you're
I
willing to
didn't see
say?
anything in terms of the futures. I mean,
They're waiting for the
looking,
qualifiers to be in there.
yeah, looking briefly at the draw, like I like Rune's draw, right? Like, there's really nobody else there besides Husler.
Yeah, they won 3 sets in Montpellier.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if he gets
but
through
the
that,
rest of that draw is really weak.
terrible. Yeah, it's true.
Tsitsipas is actually kind of a tough quarter potentially. He's got Sinner in there. Rusevori's not a cakewalk first rounder. I mean, yeah,
Actually, his little mini section here is the toughest because, like,
yeah.
once he gets past that, Wawrinka, Bublik, Gasquet, and Busta, like, I don't see anyone troubling him there.
No, you're right. You're right. Sinner's the toughest match in that.
The Medvedev quarter is actually probably the strongest because you have FAA in there as well.
Yeah.
And you
I mean, I'm probably gonna stay away and not hit any futures. It's just like all
it's a
these guys
tough
are just coming
tournament for
back
you,
off of
yeah.
layoffs, you know?
Right. Yeah, true.
Like, and there's really no dark horses here that are interesting. It's a deep draw, but there's no interesting dark horses. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see any dark horses.
I mean, maybe Husler is a dark horse.
I can't see him winning the event, you know? Like I could see him getting to the quarters, but then
I
if he
see him
has to
making a
play
semi.
okay, if he makes a semi, but then he'll have to most likely play Tsitsipas. Like if I could get Tsitsipas at better than plus 200 or 250, I'd probably take that.
I wouldn't. He's got to win. It's 5 matches is a lot for a guy who you don't know what he's going to look like. You know, like I said, he didn't play well in Davis Cup.
That's true. That's true. Medvedev. I mean, who's going to be a bigger favorite in this event in the futures, Medvedev or Tsitsipas?
Tsitsipas should be. He played a great Aussie Open. That's going to be the most relevant thing, right?
That's true. Yeah. And then Rublev or FAA will be third favorite. Probably FAA, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. This is a really tough futures tournament because, yeah, as you said, we just don't know how these guys are going to come back.
You also it's so stacked for a 500.
Yeah,
that like you don't know how much these guys are gonna prioritize this tournament.
but there's also no dominant player, right? So that's another reason which makes it tough.
Okay, how many dominant players exist in the men's game right now? 2.
Djokovic and Alcaraz.
Yeah.
Fair. Nadal and Clay.
Yeah. Maybe if he shows something again, he has to re-show it to me because he's
right.
You know, he's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move on. We always save the golden swing for last, so we're gonna go to Delray Beach.
Oh, Delray Beach, exciting times. This is outdoor hard, right?
Outdoor hard, yeah.
Um,
Humid conditions, right?
humid.
Delray
It'll be
Beach.
hot, probably because it's Florida.
Yeah.
Probably worth looking at the weather.
Mhm.
Weather is supposed to be relatively cool. Low to mid 80s,
Yeah.
but pretty humid. I mean, it's Florida, so it's always humid,
Yeah.
but not insane. Like reasonable.
Yeah, no, it's not 90s, and yeah, it looks pretty reasonable.
And I have no idea how these courts play. I imagine they probably play a little bit slow, but I don't know. I would imagine it would have to be similar to Miami, but I don't know.
Yeah. So Fritz has a bye. Gomez will play a qualifier. Let's just take a peek at the qualifying draw.
Not nearly as strong.
No.
I mean, it's a much weaker draw in general.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Everybody's in Rotterdam, so who's going to be left to play here?
Right. So the first match we know, Altmaier and Monterino. Oh, yeah. Altmaier competes, but he's just not that good. Monterino minus 2.5. Did you look at these lines?
I did,
Okay.
but I need to re-remember them. Three and a half. Manarino minus 3.5.
I'd probably take that. Altmaier is just like he's just really not that good.
I'm staying away. I think 3.5 is the right line. Like
It's right. It is. It's the right line.
Manarino doesn't get that many breaks.
Yeah.
That's my concern is can he get 2 breaks to cover 3.5?
It's true.
I actually kind of like the Manarino money line here at minus 250 because I don't really see him losing this match. Like if you put that in a parlay,
Yeah.
it gives you a nice little odds boost.
Yeah,
That's a tiebreak almost every single match.
They've never played. Good point. Yeah, he doesn't break serve that often. Except Federico Coria on hard. My first bet of the year. That was a nice win. Yeah. I guess, yeah. I would agree with you there. 3.5 is the right line. Because I don't trust Altmaier here by any stretch.
No.
No. Okay.
Like I said, I kind of like minus 250 on the money line. It's like so lame, but you throw that in a parlay as like a slight odds booster.
Okay.
Like Marino should never lose this match, right? You agree with that?
He shouldn't. Should not lose this match. Yeah. Ivashka and Wolf.
The Wolfman.
Yeah. Ivashka also he choked that match against Sock last week. Wolf minus 2.5.
Exactly.
Do you have a lean here?
I'm playing Wolf. Like I know he played bad against Isner, but I'm gonna excuse that to be a bad matchup. He played really well against Tiafo.
Good point.
And Ivashka has not been good.
He is not.
Like Wolf looks like an ATP player. Ivashka looks like a borderline challenger player. Wolf gets some breaks to serve. Like you only need one, maybe if he wins a tiebreaker. You only need one across the 2 sets if he wins 2 sets to none. And if he doesn't, he could probably get it in the third, right? With if you get lucky, it's a coin flip for the third with a 6-3 maybe in there. So I like Wolf here.
I agree. You've talked me into it. I didn't really have a read on it, but maybe I'm just.
He's also at home, right? It's in the USA, so he'll get a little bit of a boost there.
I like it. I'll play that. I'll tell you on that. You talked me into that. I'm just like thinking about the Isner match, but playing Isner is just like unlike playing anyone else on tour.
Yeah,
it really is.
I mean, the Love 40 game that he had, like 2-all Love 40 in the second set, and then Isner hit 6 aces and an unreturnable and 9 points.
I know. You're not going to get that against anyone else.
No.
So, all right.
We have the match of the year. There, 2 Americans, Mo versus Kovacevic. Match of the year, baby. Popcorn tennis. This is what we live for. This is why we put in the hours so we can bet money on matches like Mo Kovacevic.
Kovacevic. Oh, God. I think you got to go Kovacevic here. No?
We got to know the spread first.
They'll probably put Mo as a slight favorite. Like 1.5.
You hit it right in the head.
I know too much about these guys. Such a loser. So Kovacevic won that challenger in Cleveland, and he had a really good run. He played actually pretty well. I actually watched some of that. So he beat Steve Johnson, which I don't know if that means that much, but he beat then Emilio Gomez, and then he beat Yibing Wu. So those are three pretty good wins. So he has a winning taste in his mouth, and
But they're all close wins.
Close wins, but gives him confidence. I'm sure. Mo, like he's a good athlete, but he just has no offense. He just can't penetrate the court. And these guys haven't played, but they played a lot of challengers.
Well, they're challenger level players.
Yeah. Mo won all of them, but 2 of them last year. I might just play Kovacevic on the money line here.
I'm staying away. I was 100% on the Kovacevic money line at plus 120. But then I saw the 4-0 for Mo, and I decided to stay away.
But I think recent form matters more here. And I think Mo's ranking is inflated because
it's hugely inflated. It's hugely inflated.
It is. So he belongs out of the top 100.
He does.
And I think
Kovacevic isn't in the top 100 either.
That's true, but I think the books are factoring in that 3rd round run to Australia, which he shouldn't have even been there. He was a lucky loser.
I agree.
So, yeah.
4-0 head-to-head is the only reason that I'm staying away. I'm not playing Mo either. This is never Mo, but I think that yeah.
All right.
But like then again, right? The MO for Mo is that he can't beat guys who are good players.
But Kovacevic actually has some offense.
Which might be bad, but he also makes a lot of errors, right? Isn't he error prone?
That's true. Yeah.
Which is why Mo would be 4-0 against him.
That's a good point. Yeah. But you get plus money if you get bet Kovacevic. Taro Daniel and Mackenzie McDonald. This is like the equivalent of the Koric VDZ match in
McDonald Rotterdam. Beat Nadal. He beat 20-time slam champion.
22.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that was hurt Nadal.
He beat Nakashima.
Okay, that was a decent win in 5 sets. Yeah, I would say McDonald's a 2-game favorite here. 2.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Taro Daniel, true. Played once, 2019. That's a long time ago. I think Daniel has been quite bad recently. Right?
Taro.
He hasn't played since Australia, where he lost in straights to Shapovalov. Do you have a lean here?
I have no interest in this match.
1-3 to Tiafoe.
Like, I don't think McDonald's good enough to be a 3.5 game favorite. But I don't think that like Taro is like we have no idea what Taro is going to show up.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a stay away. Maybe play the over. Was it 21?
Oh, I don't like that at all.
No.
Like,
yeah,
you need both guys to show up. Like, either of these guys could just like.
That's true.
Mackie will probably show up, but Taro might just not show up.
True, and then there are probably going to be some breaks on top of it. So yeah. Okay. Ote Nishioka. Oof. Yoshi.
Our boys back in the mix again, baby.
Our boys back in the mix. I would say Yoshi is a 3.5 game favorite.
Really close, 4. But you get even money at 4.
I like that. No? Are you
I'm
staying
staying away.
away
Like
because
Oda is so bad, but it's also Nishioka's first match since Australia.
yeah, but if the serve comes back, the rallies
Point's
are
over.
so much in Yoshi's favor
I know.
because Ote has no rally tolerance.
Well, he just can't hit a ball in the court.
I know. Ote does have they played here last year and Ote won 6-3. But I feel like Ote has gotten worse since then and Yoshi's gotten better since then.
I know.
Right? So that doesn't really tell me too much. I'm gonna play Yoshi -4 here.
I don't hate it. The only reason I'm not is because it's a long layoff, and I don't like playing guys on long layoffs.
Okay. Yeah. Shelton Giron. Giron was good in Dallas. He did play pretty well. Shelton hasn't played since Australia, right?
Right.
And probably Shelton
Got
gets
a lot of hype post Australia.
yeah, so I'm sure the odds will be in his favor.
Oh, he's being talked up a lot. The Florida kid.
Shelton -3.5.
No.
No.
1.5.
Oh, okay. I thought the books would kind of inflate the odds in his favor.
Yeah, they didn't inflate as much as I was hoping either.
You hitting anything here?
No.
Yeah, maybe that was just my hope that they would inflate it because I would have hit Jerome +3.5 if that was the line.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sock against a qualifier, Yabing Wu against a qualifier. I'm kind of bummed out by that because I wanted to see who Yabing Wu would play and probably fade him here.
Yeah.
Um
You actually might get Gurazo to fade him because now he's playing a quali guy. But it's gonna be somebody awful.
I know. He just has so much more quality than any of these guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Stevie's got a shot, baby.
Stevie Johnson?
Yeah, man, he's in the finals. He's got a shot.
Oh, he's in the qualifier here. He plays Nuno Borges.
He beat Hernan Casanova.
7-6
in the third.
Ugh.
I know.
Ew.
But he's Stevie, man. He's the GOAT.
Uh,
He is the GOAT. Stevie the GOAT Johnson.
Ooh, Kecmanovic, that's a guy I'm fading hard too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been awful. Isner against a qualifier. Radu Albat, Verdasco. Ugh. Oh. Radu Albat is losing guys to UTR 11 players, right?
To be fair, I think it was like 2 years like before he got recruited to college. But yeah, but yeah, he's not a.
Yeah, how did that guy get a wild card into Dallas? Because he's like
because he plays for SMU.
Okay, all right. This is just a stay away. This is just disgusting. I mean, I don't know. Radu Albat.
I'm actually playing Verdasco here.
You
Albat is
are.
so bad, and Verdasco is plus money that I'm going to take Verdasco. It's not because I even think like Verdasco is good or think like, but I think it's just a pure 50-50. Both guys are so awful. And Verdasco doesn't have to go through qualifying this week, so it should be fresh.
I mean, Alba took Wolf to 7-6. Does that tell you much? What's the line here?
I think it's Albot -2 or something.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know.
It's Albot -2.
-2. I have trouble playing for Verdasco now. He's just so bad.
It's so funny, man. He's like, when you have a Rotterdam, like there's just nobody left. So you
I
see like
know. I
the
know.
guys that get into this tournament is just like comical.
Is this weaker than any of the 250s this week, or you think it's like on par with?
I think it's way worse than Dallas. Like
Yeah,
we didn't have any laugher matchups in Dallas. We've already had 3 here.
I know.
Emilio's gonna play a qualifier. Albot Verdasco, Thompson Kudla. Like
And the qualifying is way worse in this event
the
too.
qualifying is so bad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and Mo Kovacevic, like 4 or 5 of these first round matches are challenger matches.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay away there. I just don't like playing for Dasco.
I think that's probably the right move from a financial perspective. It's just so fun to play Verdasco.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's fun to bet against him because he's so erratic now and he just can't stay in rallies anymore.
yeah, I think it's just fun to play Verdasco matches. Like that forehand is still so big. He's still so jacked. Like he still rips that forehand with all that spin. Like
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Jordan Thompson and Dennis Kula. Didn't these guys play last week?
did they? They did. I think you're right.
Yeah, and Thompson won 6-1, 7-5. And they're probably going to inflate the odds in Thompson's favor because of that. So for that reason, it's probably a stay away. Thompson's probably what, 3-game favorite?
2.5. Yeah, and it's a stay away from me. Like
Yeah. So any futures value here? Can't play Chapo in any match. I mean, is he gonna lose to Mo or Kovacevic in the?
Mo's a really scary matchup for him.
Mo is because Mo makes balls. He doesn't put you under pressure, but that doesn't matter against Chapo, right?
Right. Nishioka. I think I like Yoshi if he doesn't have to play Fritz. And Fritz hasn't been that good anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I also, as a dark horse, I like Yaron a lot here.
That's a tough first round, though. If he gets through that, then I like him.
But who else is any good in that bottom half?
Tommy Paul. He'll probably. I mean, Fritz will be the favorite to win the event, but I think if I could get plus 200 or 250 or better on Tommy Paul to win the event, I'd probably hit that.
I don't know. I'm worried about a
let up from that Australia.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yoshi. I mean, if do you think you can get plus 800, plus 900 on Yoshi? Or
Yeah, if you do that, it's a great pick.
yeah. Yeah, Giron is interesting. Because if he gets through that, he should get to the semis. And then play Paul. Paul will be favored, but yeah, I mean, I got to take a look at the future markets. Like when the qualifiers are placed, I'm sure those odds will be up, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's all we have to. I just have to see what the odds look like there. I agree with you.
Yeah. All right. Buenos Aires.
Alrighty, golden swing, baby.
All right. So this is actually a good draw because you got
it is a good draw.
It's a
very good draw because it's a clay draw, right? Like in the clay quarters all went here.
But it's a clay draw with, Carlos Alcaraz in there. And
well, look at that top little section though. Baez got put in his section.
That's tough, man.
That's a quarter.
That's a great quarterfinal. Alcaraz Baez, if we get that.
Yeah.
Crap. So we haven't talked much about Carlos Alcaraz this entire podcast because he has this is his first tournament of the year. Do you expect a letdown for him? Do you
I don't know. Like let's define a letdown, right? Like we talked about this on the Futures podcast, right? Like I guess, but Like, I think it'll still be top 5. So I don't think it's gonna be like a massive letdown.
Are you more worried about these injury concerns? You know, or do you think he's going to kind of pick up where he left off and just play?
I'm really happy that he didn't play the Australian Open. I think that shows that he has a team that is prioritizing his career over the short term.
Okay.
Ferrero would know how to do that, right? He's a former player. He's a clay grinder. Like he would know how to manage that. You know, like he would know how to manage from a physical perspective. I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I expect him to get through obviously Fonini or Laszlo Djere, and then if he has to play Baez, I mean, he'll be a big favorite. I might take Baez plus the games if it's like +5 or 5.5. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to see the odds there. And then let's just go over the draw since we're looking at it. Schwartzman.
This is such a bad section. Like we don't know if Cerundolo's healthy.
Right.
Schwartzman is awful. Can't beat he can't beat either Cerundolo right now.
Yeah, I think he'll lose to either Zapata or Pedro. Right?
I think whoever wins between Pedro and Zapata is the favorite to make the semis. That's how bad this section is.
Wow.
Who's in the qualifying?
Well, Munar is there. And that guy's been battle.
But it is his first clay tournament, right? He's coming over from he's on a layoff since the AO.
He is, but it doesn't really matter with him. He's just gonna dig in and just play every point like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, but Pedro and Bernabe will do the same thing.
They will. I think Munar is slightly better than both those guys, though.
He is. But he's not. Those aren't guys. I guess if he gets a nice first match in Pella, right? Like,
yeah.
If Cerundolo's healthy, this is Cerundolo all day. We just don't know about Cerundolo's health.
I mean, if Cerundolo's healthy, I think that match with Munar is like a 3-hour battle.
Like I don't know. I mean, and you're talking to a guy who's high on Munar. Yeah, but I think Cerundolo's the better player, even on clay.
Yeah, more firepower. That's true. But health, he's going to need to be 100% healthy to win that match.
Right. I mean, I don't know if he is. I'm saying if he's healthy. If he's not, then...
Yeah.
Then it's...
I mean, it's probably a very, very weak section. Very, very weak section. Pedro Bernabe. I mean, I guess we can start going over the lines now.
So Fonini Giri?
Fonini Giri. I mean, Jesus Christ. Oh. Giri is probably a 2.5 game favorite.
4. I have no interest in playing Fognini here, though.
No.
I don't really want to play Giri -4 either. 4's a big spread, man. Talked about this before.
4 is a big spread.
Such an ugly match.
It is an ugly match. It's like a match that I could picture being fixed.
Oh, either direction. Either direction.
In either direction, exactly. So just for that reason, it's a stay away.
It's a stay away. Yeah, you're right. Pedro and Bernabe.
Yeah. Bernabe is probably a 1.5 game favorite.
Half a game. It's basically a pick 'em.
I got to go with Bernabe then. Oh yeah. Pedro, who did he lose to in Cordoba?
He didn't play Cordoba, I don't think.
He did.
He did. You're right. Oh, he lost to RCP.
No, he lost to Garin.
Oh, my bad. Too many Spanish guys who play on clay.
But he went away in the third, which was surprising to me. 6 love. That was not good.
And they played at the Paris Masters, and Bernabe put up 2 bagels around a set that he lost.
That's hard.
Yeah.
But they're both clay guys, so it kind of, it kind of washes itself out. Yeah, I'd have to go Bernabe here. In a pick'em?
Yeah, for me, it's a stay away. They do have a head-to-head, a pretty substantial one. They have like 10 matches, and I think Pedro's had the advantage. It's all challenger, right? Because they're challenge level players.
Yeah.
But Pedro's been slightly better.
Slightly. It's pretty much even.
I think there's a couple other matches that aren't being mentioned.
But that's
I'm not sure
2017, 2016. I mean, those don't really matter. It's too long ago. And I mean, they're so similar in ranking too.
Look, I think this is so. My take here is this is as close to a dead coin flip as you can have.
Yeah.
I think Bernabe is a slightly more likely to win, but I think the books have this like perfectly called.
It's a pick'em. Yeah.
But I think it's a slight edge to Bernabe, but it's so slight you wouldn't even hit at minus 120.
Right. I'm very curious to see what the line is against for either of those guys against Schwartzman, because I feel like because Schwartzman will probably be slightly favored against either guy.
And I would I'm hammering anybody against Schwartzman at this point.
Yeah.
Like any ATP, any even like high level challenger player, like these guys on clay or ATP level players, they qualify, so I'll hit him against Schwartzman.
Schwartzman did say that he was going through some off the court issues. Did you hear anything about that?
I did not. Did he say what they were?
I think it was his father. Yeah, his father was in the hospital. So I think that was weighing heavily on him in terms of mentally. Yeah.
I still have a hard time, I have a hard time getting excited about Schwartzman just because his dad is now out of the hospital. Like he'll need to play a couple good matches for me to believe that the problem is entirely mental at this point.
I agree with that.
There's too much of a narrative around it potentially being physical and it's been too long. Like it's not 3 weeks that he struggled; it's 7 months now.
It's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, he used to be competent on hard, right? He wasn't losing every match on hard.
Yeah, and he made quarters of US Open.
Yeah.
He was more than competent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, it's just if there's like a mental component in addition,
then it's gonna be even worse. I get it. Yeah.
Worse.
I mean, he probably shouldn't lose to Cerundolo even at this point. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the good Cerundolo, not the other Cerundolo.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Molchan and
Munar Pella.
Oh, Munar and Pella. Yeah. Munar has to be like a 3-game favorite.
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5.
I actually think this is a stay away. Pella's like shown that I think he won a couple matches where he won a match.
No, he won against Baba Sori. It was my painful bet of the week.
Yeah.
I lost that massive
parlay. He's shown that he wants to play tennis.
Yeah.
Right? It was against a guy coming off a long layoff, Munar could come out slow. Pella's better on clay than anywhere else. I'm staying away. It's never Pella. It's just a matter of if you believe in Munar's, the Munar's going to be ready.
I do believe in Munar. I think he's also going to outcompete him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in Argentina too. I mean, I think the line is well set. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably stay away. Molchan and team. Oh, man. I'm curious what the books have on this. I'm leaning Molchan for sure. Molchan is an excellent clay court player.
He is, but he's been so bad recently up until this, right?
Yeah, but it's mainly been on hard because he got his ranking up, so he's been playing the ATP calendar.
Yeah.
He's back in his element now. I mean, team has really looked bad. It's probably a pick 'em, right?
No. It is team minus 2.5.
Oof.
Molchan is +1. Molchan's only +135 in the money line, so it's very weird. Like, if I don't know why they're not giving him more respect. Like the dichotomy there's a little weird. Usually you see more gap, I feel like, between the games and the money line if it's 2.5.
I'm still hitting Molchan money line there as a dog. Are you playing that match?
I don't think
what
so.
What has team shown? Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. But Molchan's beaten Wawrinka and McDonald, Copiel, and Yonel in the past 6 months. Those are his 4 wins.
All on hard?
Yeah, but Yonel and Copiel are challenger level players. Those were in Davis Cup. Oh no, those were on clay. His 2 hard wins were McDonald and Wawrinka. Everybody else beat him up pretty good. Team, if you remember, team last year looked relatively competent on clay as well.
Yeah,
like
but
in that summer clay season,
but then
he
there was
started to play a little better
yeah, but then there was a layoff, and then he started wetting the bed again
on hard court. I'll play this back at you. You want to tell me the Molcan's good on clay? I'm going to tell you the team can play on clay.
True. This is actually a very, very interesting match. Like, I'm looking forward to this one. I like Molchan here as an underdog still.
Yeah, I might. I actually, this might be one of the few times I violate my rule and actually do this. I think this might just be a take the pure plus money.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's an interesting match. Like, I probably won't be able to watch it because I imagine I'll be working, but this is a match that, like, I would want to bet on or would want to watch. Like, I think it's an interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be a good match, but I think it's an interesting match. Like, team looked competent at those tournaments.
He did. He did look competent at those tournaments, but then Molchan looked really good in Hamburg.
He did. He did.
I made the semis there.
That's why it's a weird thing. Like, it's 2 guys who have looked like crap for the past 6 months, but they've also had to play hardcore the past 6 months.
But team hasn't won a set all year. At least Molchan took 2 sets off FAA and beat Wawrinka, right?
Yeah.
So
I think this is Molchan.
it's Molchan.
It's definitely Molchan. I'm hitting it right now. It's definitely Molchan.
I mean, this is where Molchan generates his points. He's definitely a better clay court player. Plus, the lefty forehand to team's backhand is a good play. Like, the matchup actually favors Molchan here.
No, I like Molchan. At plus money, I like Molchan. I agree. You convinced me.
Nice. Tiago Montero and Pedro Cachin. Ugh. Cachin looked really bad against Delian. And
Montero completely went away the last 2 sets against Coria.
True, but Coria is a better player than it's a better player than Delian.
I don't know if I would say way better player. I think he's he's a better player. I don't know if he's a way better player.
Yeah. The thing with Kachin is that he has a decent forehand, but his backhand is a big liability. I watched that entire match because I had money on it. Like I think I had 2 units on it or 3 units. So and Montero has that lefty loopy forehand. So he's gonna pin Kachin to that side, and I think that's gonna be problematic for him. So I would lean Montero here. I'm curious to see what the line is. I'm expecting Montero to be like a 2-game favorite.
It's the other way actually. Kachin is the 2-game favorite.
No way. So I'm hitting Montero there.
Oh no, sorry. You're right. Montero's a 2.5-game favorite.
2.5-game favorite.
Yeah.
They played, I mean, they were different players back then. And what's the money line here?
Ooh, good question. Kachin is plus 125.
And Montero's what, minus 130?
Minus 150.
Oh, minus 150. It's a well set line. I'd probably still play Montero money line.
Okay. I'm taking Kachin with the games. Kachin battles. That's my reasoning.
I just didn't like what I saw against Delian. I like, even though Montero went away against Coria in the third, I like what I saw more from him, just from a tennis perspective.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on. ARV against RCB. Interesting match.
Battle of the 3-letter syllable Spaniards.
Yeah. I mean, which name would you rather have? Which name is cooler? I think Carballes Baena. You got to go with that.
No. Albert Vamos Rinolas? That's way better.
Pretty cool, too. Yeah, I think Bernabe Zapata Miralles beats them both.
Bernabe is a pretty great first name.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Or maybe Carlos Garcia Alcaraz. Like, they never put it in there, but some sites listen as Carlos, and some listen as Carlos Garcia. So they like do the line like, "Where's Alcaraz?" And it's Carlos Garcia.
Yeah, or Rafael Nadal Pereira.
Yeah.
Back to the tennis. I mean, this is tough. I think ARV is going to be a slight favorite here. I don't know, that Carballes Baena Zapata match, that first match of the week in Cordoba was actually pretty good. It's pretty high quality. I think ARV is probably like a 1.5, 2-game favorite here. Probably 2-game.
I think it was closer than that, but I will check.
And I would take Carballes probably plus the games, or I might take the over here, actually.
It's 2.5 is the spread.
And the over is what, 21.5?
20, yeah.
I think I'm gonna take the over here. I think this could be a battle. Could be 3 sets. Another one of these like 3-hour matches. And both of these guys are gonna fight. What, do you have a lean here?
I don't.
No.
I don't. I'm looking up.
They have a decent head-to-head.
And it's 4-2 Vinolas.
Last
All of them like 6 years ago, but it's 4-1 Vinolas on clay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm staying away. Like, I think Vinolas is the slightly better player.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Like I think the line is well set, and he has the head-to-head advantage.
I'm gonna play the over here. I like over 21.5.
You probably need 2 sets to get there, though. Maybe not, though. I mean, maybe like with Vinales' choking issues, I don't hate it.
And there are going to be breaks in both ways.
And Viana's probably the same way. Like, what is either of them over 12.5?
Good question.
That might be the play here.
Whoever you get plus money on over 12.5.
Well, actually, they're both plus money over 12.5, 105 and 140.
140 is Baena, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Would
think
you play both? Would you play both guys over 12.5?
That's an interesting play because that could happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if I think it's going to go over and you get plus money on both, I think that's the play.
I like that better than the over.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a whole lot of times this goes over and only goes 2 sets.
I agree with you. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Etch against Delian. I like what I saw from Delian this week. Do you think backing up a semifinal win or a semifinal performance in Cordoba is going to impact, or he's just going to go to a different city and battle there just as hard?
No, I don't think it's going to matter, but Etch is at home.
But Etch played terribly against João Souza. Lost first round. I mean, that was his first match back. I would say Delian is a slight favorite in this match, right?
He's giving 2 games, which I think is the right line. I stayed away from this.
Line. It's the right line. Maybe play the over here. Stay away, I guess. Gun to my head, I picked Delian to win the match. Yeah. Maybe. What's Delian money line?
Minus 160, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, no. Diaz, Acosta, Coria. I mean, I'm curious to see how that ankle is.
Yeah, I actually put a bet on this. The Coria money line is minus 240. I think that's a good bet right now. And then I'm gonna wait and pull that if I have to, right? But depending on how the ankle looks tomorrow, depending on when the match is. Like I want this match to be a Tuesday or a Wednesday start. If it's a Monday start, I'm pulling this. Like, so it's like a tentative.
Yeah.
What?
There are a lot of variables here.
Yeah, I'm tentatively on Coria here at the money. Like I think minus 240. Like Acosta sucks.
Yeah.
He's like a mediocre challenger player who they put in the tournament because he's an Argentine. Like, yeah, Argentinian. This is how you know Argentinian tennis is down. That they need to put in Acosta to fill their wild cards.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that Coria is not 100% healthy. I'm really hoping he turns up and plays a good match against Baez and looks healthy and he does, because I'm very curious to see that Coria Nori second round match. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Any futures values here? Alcaraz is probably going to be a pretty overwhelming favorite. I would not play him in the futures just because I see that, he hasn't played in a while.
Yeah. And he's coming off an injury physically. Right. I want to see what some of these guys, so if you go up Manny a little bit, there's a bunch of guys I actually want to see what the line looks like on. So I want to see what the Baez futures line looks like. I think he's a good dark horse, especially because he's in Alcaraz's quarter. I think he might get a better line there.
Even if he wins in Cordoba, you think he can back it up with another win?
If there was a time to do it, this would be it, right? It's his home country.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And he needs all the points he can get because the only places he gets points is on clay.
Right.
So if you're him, you got to gun it until the end of the clay season and just whatever you have in the tank, just gun it,
Yeah.
Um, I want to see what kind of futures you get on like it would have to be long, long, long odds, but like you might get 40 or 50 to 1 on like Morales or Munar.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I would even play that because it's just
It's such a weak section. Like there's a good chance for either of those guys to make the semis. You get to the semis and like YOLO, at 50 to 1. But they can't beat Alcaraz or Baez, right? So what does it matter?
exactly. And if
Um,
Alcaraz is 100%, like just you think that I guess you would think he's 100% because otherwise Ferrero probably wouldn't push him back that quickly.
yeah.
So he's
How do
got
you like Musetti?
well. The guy Musetti is just tough to bet, man. He's like you don't know what Musetti's going to show up, right?
He's only got to win 4 matches.
And he
He's
did.
he's the guy with the best chance in this draw to beat Alcaraz.
Yes. Well, he already did in Hamburg
Right.
in a final in
Yeah.
500. Yeah, I mean, if he shows up, it's good. It's just it's another guy that's tough to read.
Yeah, and I would need to see like 15 to 1 or something. I mean, you probably
You're
won't
not
get
going to
that.
get that. You're going to get like 4 to 1 or 5 to 1.
And then there's no way you can hit this because he's just so inconsistent.
Right.
Um,
Interesting that Nori is here. I thought he would be in like Rotterdam or something. Maybe did he think maybe that draw is so tough that it's like, oh, I'm going to try to get points elsewhere?
I don't really understand this either from Nori. I don't know why you would play this tournament.
Because he's
Like,
not a clay guy.
I think Delray Beach would have made more sense actually. If you were looking to come to America sooner, I think that Delray Beach would have made more sense.
So obviously he's going to play Rio, right? Because he's here.
Well, that's why he's here, right? He's here to prepare for Rio. Because Rio's a 500, correct?
It is one of the weaker 500 draws.
Yeah.
But Nori's not a clay guy. It's confusing to me. I don't understand why he's here.
Yeah, I would have thought he would have done Delray Beach.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any value in betting him in the futures either, right?
No.
He hasn't
No.
played since Australia. No, he played Davis Cup for Britain. But I mean, yeah. Do you read much into those 2 matches against Colombia?
No, I thought he played fine.
Played fine, didn't play great.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it's a tough little section because if he has to play a healthy Coria, then play ARV or Baena, that's not easy to play Musetti. Like he probably has one of the tougher draws.
Yeah, I don't like this offer for Lori. I don't really like. I mean, honestly, my play is probably. I obviously have to see the odds, but like, there's probably not much of anything interesting. Like Baez could be interesting. I think. I actually think Baez has a shot against Alcaraz. I think it's a competitive match. Like, if that line is Alcaraz -4, I think I would take Baez.
Yeah, you're probably going to get that. You might even get 4.5 because these.
And I think I would hit Baez in that because like that means you're going to have seen one match out of Alcaraz. That's a quarter.
Yeah, you just have one match. Probably, I mean, Fonini and Jerry is not really going to tell you that much about Alcaraz's fitness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. And I think Musetti has I think Musetti of all these guys has the best chance to beat a healthy Alcaraz, and then Baez probably if you have to put him in order.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right. Because Musetti.
Nori's beaten Alcaraz also in Cincinnati, but that was on hard, not clay.
Yeah, no, not on clay. But yeah, I mean, I love these clay court tournaments. They're really fun. Cordoba has been amazing. It's been a lot.
This is not going to be as good as Cordoba. I don't think. It's like Cordoba might end up being the tournament of the year.
Well, Cordoba is just pure dirt ballers. Like this is a deeper draw because now it's like closer to Rio, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but it's a good draw. I mean, there's some quality here.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's transition to football. We're gonna some Super Bowl lines.
There's a football game tomorrow.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Who's playing?
I think.
I've just been watching Cordoba.
Yeah. I think
idea.
one of the Argentinian soccer teams, maybe one of the Saudi teams. Messi's coming back to Argentina, maybe.
All right. Yeah, we're just joking. We know who's playing the Super Bowl. Yeah. Any read on the game?
I think it's as close to a pick'em game as you could possibly have, and the book agrees. I think it's like Chiefs plus or Eagles -1, and I think that's probably a good, the right way to put this. Like the right way to put this. So yeah, I'm probably gonna only look at props.
I agree with you. And
A few players I like in this game. I like the team. I like the running backs.
Mhm.
So basically all the running backs. I like Kelsey a lot, especially for like first TD or for an anytime TD.
Mhm.
Those are probably the biggest things.
Well, just talking about the game, like the line hasn't moved. Like since the line came out, I think it opened at 1.5, Eagles being favored, and like the line really hasn't moved. So that
No.
means that there's sharp money coming in on both teams. And I mean it's one of the sharpest lines of the year in any sport, just because of the amount of people that bet it. That being said, you do get the more casual fans who don't know much, who put a lot of money into this. So maybe that's kind of lending it to not be as sharp. But you know, there's so much money into this game that it's a very sharp line.
Yeah. Agreed.
So it's plus the teams are even. Plus
Yep.
the Chiefs have the better quarterback. They have the better probably coach, but the Eagles have a more well-rounded team and a better defense.
And a much better defense.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm with you. I like the player props. I like Kelsey. One of my favorite lines was the biggest lead to be under 14.5 points at -110.
And I love that. Yeah, you and I agree on that. We love that.
So I think that's going to be my bet of the day. I just think it's two closely matched teams, right? So the lead, it's probably going to come down to the fourth quarter, right? Is that what you expect?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, these teams are so even, right? Like, why? I mean,
yeah.
it could go anyway, right? It's football, it could go anyway. But yeah, I think that this is like, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. And you said you like the rushing props, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like almost all the running backs to go over, to be honest. Like on yards,
Mm-hmm.
because they're all pretty reasonable. Like I think, and I think like so. Like if you're the Chiefs, you should be looking to run the ball because the Eagles have the best pass defense in the league. If
Yeah.
you're the Eagles, you run the ball better than you throw the ball, and I would think you'd want to keep the Chiefs' offense off the field as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, also the Eagles have a very good pass defense, but their rush defense is probably the weakest part of their
Team. That's what I mean. That's why if you're the Chiefs, you're going to run the ball.
yeah. They're going to establish that. And also the running the ball opens up the pass game.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if they're getting like 4 or 5 yards on first down, like that's really open up the pass game. So
I would think with the Eagles pass rush, they'd want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just hoping for a good game because like these playoffs have actually been quite underwhelming. Like
They
they're
have been.
pretty
They
shitty
have been.
games. Like and officiating took precedence in the AFC Championship game, which could have been a classic. That was very disappointing.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. Like it was a shame because like some of them weren't necessarily bad calls. It was just things that were kind of unfortunate and looked bad on the refs.
yeah.
Like the one do-over play, the refs actually made the right call. Like the ref was running in, it just like was too loud for anybody to realize. Um, the
So
hit out
many
of
things,
bounds.
but so many things went against the Bengals. Everything went against the Bengals.
I know the hit out of bounds was, but the guy was out of bounds. Like the hit out of bounds, the guy was like Holmes was out of bounds, and the guy hit him. Like that gets called every time. It just sucks to get called in that spot.
But you don't think the ref has to kind of use some judgment there and be like,
I
I
would
think
like to
he
see
would
the
want
refs do
that.
that, but they never do that.
I guess, yeah, yeah. Yes, I'm hoping for like a close game that goes to overtime or the last possession and like the players decided. I really don't want, like I don't know.
I agree.
All right, so that does it. Um, another long pod, but a lot to talk about for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting
just a lot
time.
of tennis, man. Too many
Ton
tournaments,
of
man.
tennis. It's crazy. And we didn't even touch on any of the challenger events. I think there are like 3 challenger tournaments next week.
There are,
It's
there are. It's
crazy.
it's nuts, man. It's fun though. It's a
It is
lot, a
fun.
lot going
It's a
on.
lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And thanks again for all the back and forth on Twitter. We really enjoy it. And thanks again for listening. We're increasing the views and it's great. It's great.
It's growing. It's slowly growing.
It is. It is.
It's a little scary though, because I don't know. It's hopefully it keeps growing, but it's like it feels like a very slow burning fire.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the tennis, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye everyone.